Hi friends, this is MD Vegan, right? Yeah, cheese today, not cheese, fermented cheese, has to be fermented, otherwise my really friends, cheese-loving friends, the not vegan ones, they would say, oh, that's not cheese, come on, that's cream or something, a paste you can buy in the health food shop. We don't know, that is not cheese. No. So when I brought them fermented cheese, they said, wow, hey, this is something convincing. I didn't know that was possible. So yeah, cheese, that's what I conclude from that and take from that, it should be fermented. And I make it from a combination of nuts. Today it is macadamia and cashew. I soaked them overnight. I show you what I did here. It looks like now. Both of them have been soaking for, let's say, 12 hours or so. Maybe 10. See, lots of water in there. And you see that the texture of the nuts, it changes. It gets bigger. Yeah, they're really taking on volume. That makes them very nice to blend. Very creamy, very easy. And it's not that much about the health factor. That's not so important. Neither for macadamia nuts, not for cashews. You can blend them also without soaking. It's not less healthy. You can also absorb it. So I put now both of them together in a sieve, the colander, to get the water out. And I even wash a little bit. I have prepared some plain water, has been filtered. So just to keep the flavor pure. Otherwise, it is not unhealthy to use the soaking water. So I need some water for blending them. Yeah, the least amount of water possible. But the flavor will change because it's a little bit, the cashews water tastes a little bit of sweetness in there, and it's a gray color, so it's making the flavor a little bit more different. I like more the pure flavor now, for my purpose now. Here I show you the soaking water, and I tell you, I will never throw it away from these nuts because it's really delicious. And it's very healthy, it's full of nutrients. So I will keep that water aside and drink it. Wonderful. So this is the first, without the nuts I cannot make the cheese today, so that's the first and most important ingredient, of course. And I have the water, I have the colander, the soaking water, okay, the washing water. And now I need to blend it up. I only blend it with some bacterial cultures. These are a combination of cultures, and you have these biophytes, the lactobacilli, and this is important that you have these together. Yeah, there are different cultures, and you need some bacteria cultures that will really do the job. And the biophytes and the lactobacillus, and you have different names of them, and here are 5 or 6 different kinds of bacteria, and I have very good experience with this kind of lactobact. It's called Lactobact Junior. It's in Germany available. You have in the States, for example, in England you have, or in Asia, I guess you have different ones, but I highly recommend, in Germany we can buy these bacterial cultures in the pharmacy, in the drugstore, because the doctors prescribe them for a healthy intestine. If you have problems with digestion, you often use these kind of cultures, probiotics they are called, to make your intestine work again, to feed the bacteria and to build the new up after fasting too and cleansing the intestine. You're always used for health reasons. Very, very good, very healthy, nothing bad about them. And you can also use it to ferment your cheese or other products. You don't need to use these. You can also have another a way to make your own bacterial cultures. That might even be better. You just have to use, for example, cereal like wheat. Yeah? And it's very common and popular. And you let it sit in the water overnight and take the water away and put new water, change the water, and you go on soaking them. And after some or more, 2 or 3 change of water, the water will be really strong, have a strong flavor, be full of bacteria, healthy bacteria usually, and that is an even better fermentation ground than these. Because of bacteria, there's a lot of stories about them to tell. Science just began to explore how they would work, how they would influence the fermentation process, because, you know, if you take a cabbage out of the garden, for example, you only will have you have 2 cabbages from the same garden, and you make the sauerkraut from the first and the sauerkraut from the second in different containers, and you will notice the bacterial cultures in both will develop in different ways, because each cabbage, each ingredient has their own bacterial processes going on. So it's hard to describe how they really work. So if you make your own bacteria, you are very, very more related to yourself, to your own situation, and it can be good for you or not so good. You have to decide. But that is a critical process, but it is very interesting to find out a little bit more. But to make your own experience, I will highly recommend to do this. I will show it in another video, like working with this Rejuvelac, that is called this kind of water from wheatgrass, from wheat berries. They are fermented and in the water, and then they have these wonderful bacterial cultures there. I will show later. So, but now for now, to make it easy, just these bacteria, and I put all the nuts into my blender. That should be 4 cups or so. Yeah. Then we'll have some work to do here. A lot of nuts. So I need some water. Not too much, because I want to have not too much liquid. The liquid would be harder for the cheese. So I take just one of these little spoons here. That's completely enough. Maybe I take today only half of it. Just half. Yeah, this little of this. Maybe a half teaspoon or so, not even 1/3 of a teaspoon, I would say. A little bit more. The quantity is also important, because it will have a different flavor. Your cheese can be too intense, it can be bitter, tart. You have to be careful. So, but you have to find out. That's really so much. I tell you, that's all kind of changing all the time. Not so easy. Cheese business. So here, some water, a cup or so, 4 cups of nuts soaked overnight. Let's see. That took some time now, and there was a lot of quantity in my blender. This is a high-power blender, but high-speed blender. But if you take some less nuts, maybe only 2 cups, and make 2 batches, it will be easier for the blender. Now I had to put some water in between, because it was too little water, and I had to use this one to make it reach the blades, the nuts reach the blades. I try it again now, because now they haven't sunk down, and I will see if it works now. So I think, it was on purpose that I left it for you to see the whole process, because sometimes, in case it happens to you in your own kitchen, if you do that the first time, or yeah, I've been doing it for many times now, and still happens something I cannot foresee, then it is good to know what to do, to stay calm, not to overreact, just to go on very calmly, and that's what I want to show you. And see, this kind of cheese here, the base of the cheese looks very nice, right? It's very creamy now, it's perfect texture, yeah. I had to use a little bit more water, but it doesn't matter. The next tool, after this has been completed, the next tool is here a diaper or a linen cloth, like this. This is a diaper, it's very inexpensive. You can find it in Germany, you find it in the drugstore, yeah. And it's a linen cloth. It's a linen cloth, and you can have cheesecloth too. That's of course more expensive, but it does the same job. Because I put it in half now. So this has a certain reason. It has to be large. I show you why. And here the next tool, very important, also very expensive. Just a colander and a bowl, and both are fitting together like this. This is perfect, yeah? Because the water from the nut, from the cheese, will run down in this one. I can save this here, and the cheese will remain in here, and the cheesecloth. So, and I have to fold it. Here the large one, fold it in two, and then I have a long one, and put it the first part here, over here. You see, like this. So one part is hanging over for later doing this, and cover the cheese. And now I just pour the cheese, the base of the cheese, the nut with the probiotics, into my cloth. Very easy. And that will be pretty much all that remains to do for me for today. Afterwards, when all this is completed, and all of the cheese, the cheese base, the probiotics are on their way, so to say, well packed, then, here I'll show you what it looks like now. This will be my cheese pretty soon. You see? Nice, right? And now I cover it with the other half of my linen cloth. Yeah. So, just on top. That's perfect. The linen also takes some of the liquid out. Now the liquid goes down. And here, I need a fitting plate. This fits perfectly in. You see the small plate? I had to cover my nuts when they were soaking. They happen to fit here nicely on top. You see you have a cover on top of the linen. So linen, cheese base, linen, plate as a roof. And on this, I show you what I do, comes a weight. I always have these here for making cheese. I have some of these bottles. Oil has been in there before. I don't use oil anymore, not that much anymore. And I've been filling water in there. This water, just pure water, plain water from the sink. and I put it, 2 of them on top. Yeah. And they will press as a weight. You can take anything. The weight will press it down, the water will rinse out of the cheese, and in maybe 24 hours my cheese is so far that I can put it into the next stage, little forms, and store it in the fridge, and then you can ripen a little bit more. I can spice it with salt, a little bit salt and lemon maybe, but don't need much. It depends now. This is a new combination for me. I put it on the warm place, maybe close to a heater. In the summertime there is no need for a heater. It is always warm enough to make the fermentation go, because the bacteria need some heat, some temperature. It shouldn't fall down. Usually have a smaller one, so like this will be also good. This would be okay. So that shouldn't fall down, of course. That's good now. Perfect. See? So in the summertime it's warm enough for the bacteria to ferment in the normal regular room, and shouldn't be too much light there. It's nice if they have a little bit, the area is a little bit closed, because they're developing some heat here, and it could be nice if there's a blanket over, or behind a curtain or something. I put it in a place where I can see it, and one day later I can open it and put the cheese into forms. I show you that when I do that, and I come back very soon. Just one thing to mention, the combination of cashew and macadamia. I choose that because usually I make a macadamia cheese or a cashew cheese. Macadamia has something, a strong flavor. It's very characteristic, and we make a cheese from it, and it firms up pretty nicely. Whereas the cashew cheese, there's very nice for it's a sweet flavor more. It's a different flavor, and it doesn't firm up that nicely. So I will wonder now what combination will come out and decide when I taste it which flavor I will use. Maybe salt or lemon or whatever. Let's see. I'll show you that. I'll be back. For you it will be only a second, and for me it will take 24 hours or so. Well, see you soon in a second. So one day has passed. So it was yesterday morning. So it was 24 hours plus another 12 hours. I could have stopped the fermentation process 12 hours ago, but I was busy all day. So it was fermenting a little bit longer. As you can see, it's still there. So I take the bottles, the weights off. So doesn't put it just here. Doesn't matter. And here I will show you in a minute. First I can take off the plate. See the plate? And under the plate there is the first layer of the linen. And then you can see here the cheese. This is cheese now. Fermented nuts. Cashews and macadamias, half. And I can, has a nice fragrance, very nice. And what I will do now is very easy. I will put all of this into a bowl, taste it, and probably season it, and then put it into a containers where they can sit for a while and get firm up a little bit. Now this is the first stadium. I scrape a little bit from the linen, because I don't want to waste all that nice cheese here. I have to wash that now, the linen. This is here what remains. Can you see? I have to wash that now. Put it aside. Okay. And this is what here. This is some here. What remains? I could drink this too, a little bit only. That came out of the cheese during that day. It's full of healthy nutrients here. Bacteria cultures are there, healthy ones. They are wonderful probiotics for my little tummy here, but I will take care of that later. First, I have to see through the cheese. So, yeah, that is what cheese looks like to me. Fresh cheese. See, this I show you. See, it's light, fluffy, very fluffy. Now, taste it now. So I never made a combination of macadamia and cashew cheese. Each both, but not combined. Yeah. Oh, wow. Very nice. Oh, I like it. It's good. Has really both. There's really both. The cashews, the sweetness, and the macadamia, the strong character. A little bit, not tart. How to describe? Together with the fermentation, it's even more strong flavor. Like cheese, it is a little bit more strong. But usually I would put some salt and eventually some lemon. That's the minimum. With salt, now I can taste the nuts and the nutty flavor in the background. That's really nice. That's really nice. Oh, I like this kind of combination. So I will put only, I remember it was 2 cups of each, so 4 cups of nuts, round about. And I take a half a teaspoon, here half a teaspoon of salt, Himalayan salt, and I won't take any lemon now. I want to be very careful at first. Don't want to do anything too much because it's a very nice flavor, really indeed. And I can always enjoy this already greatly. I can always do that later. And it can ripen. Now mature now, the cheese. It will be, I'll show you how I will put it in, where I will put it in, to put it in the fridge, to store it. And once what I do now, I stir it. Stirring already will change the texture because now the fermentation process makes it bubble up a little bit, get fluffy, and now when I stir it, it gets creamy. That also changes the flavor, of course. Once the salt is in, I will try it again. Looks very nice now. I will show you in a moment. Already changed. Oh, one more. Oh yeah. Perfect. Nothing else. Half a teaspoon of salt, that's it. Look, so wonderful. Here, you see? Is that wonderful? Would you like? Very gentle flavor. And here, that's where I store it. I can't stop singing, praising the flavor. In the back of the mouth, moment after eating, I feel the nuts over there. A very nice way. So what I do now, I put it into a container. This is my favorite container. I mean, if you have a glass one, yeah, out of glass, you are really better off. Now, this is maybe for traveling. It's easier, a plastic one. And this one is okay for traveling because you can close it here at the sides, and this will nothing will come out. No liquid, no air inside. It's very good. It's a very good quality. I use these rings, kitchen rings, serving rings. This is not a ring, you see, it has 6 corners. This is the ring, a little bit bigger. And I will put them here. They fit in here both. It's a perfect way for me to carry my cheese around, which I will do. And but you know what? If I put the cheese in here and take it out again, it can be that it remains in here and I have the ring in my hand. So that's why I have a little trick. I put some parchment paper here, a small strip of parchment paper. For each one for each, because I want to get them out separately. One can stay in while the other will be taken out. So I need 2. Just like that. See? Very easy. Easy procedure. Oh. now in here. And then I put the cheese in here with a little spoon. I will prepare the spoon here. The fork I don't need anymore. Other spoons go into the used spoons glass. So here. Now I put the cheese, one part of the cheese into the ring, the other one into the other form, 6 corners, hexagon, 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 yeah, so it's too much. And then we have to use another one. I will spare you for that, save you from that, because now you know already what I'm doing here. Yeah, stood up. If something was too quick. And it will definitely change its flavor in the next days in the fridge, and can keep for a while. You can eat it right away. You can also let it sit for a while. You can do different things with it. I don't go into details now, but you can definitely work on it or just enjoy it. Spice it up, use it in other dishes. And you know everything about cheese yourself. I don't need to explain you. So here, this is the tomato rings. And in a while I can take off the rings and they will keep firm, and I can serve them to friends wherever I go with this little trick. This remains to fill in another one. So friends, thanks for joining me, for watching me. I hope you enjoyed greatly, and maybe you can use a little bit of it. And you can also give me feedback. I'd be glad to hear it, to read it on Facebook or YouTube. And you can subscribe, of course. MD Vegan on YouTube. Every day, a new recipe.